While just going on YouTube, this is Acid Roots. I'm going to review the third studio album by American rock band Drowning Pool. Based this product is called Full Circle, and it came out in the summer of 2007. Now, within the fair about it here, within the pitch, particularly Drowning Pool, it had a number of switch-ups with like their lead vocalist pitches like that. Now, it's not that's not by default within these pitches. The unfortunate aspect of it is particularly in particular, their lead vocalist Dave Williams passed just a year after their debut album Sinner came out within pitches like that as far as this first album, which is very unfortunate pitches like that. Now, it's been quite some time since I touched base with Drowning Pool. I reviewed both their first two albums. I did review Sinner, which is some excellent type fairs. It has hit songs like Tear Away, Bodies, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, and then Sinner, the title track on there as far as this pitching album. In addition, just some other type banging hits. It's a real blistering type aspect, excellent type appeal with Dave Williams pitches like that. Then not too much later in like the fall of 2016. Yeah, it's been about a decade since I touched base with Drowning Pool within the fair behind it. I particularly also reviewed Desensitized from 2004. It's good pitches as well. Had different vocalists, but pitches like that, some excellent type ordeals. They went through a series of these. Particularly, this is the one that has Ryan McCombs, who was formerly the lead singer of Soil, which is a pretty excellent type band as well. Pitch like that is on this particular album, so good type fairs. And particularly this cat, Soil was kind of a more or less kind of post-grunge type band. Pitches. This has a little bit more post-grunge type flair compared to previous type Drowning Pools. Some of those type aspects. So kind of, not to say Full Bound has the theme, but this kind of pitch. It has a little bit more radio grabs towards like the makeshift type dredge of it. Not quite. I mean, it has the carnivorous kind of thump on here with like those cage nights that Drowning Pools known for, the UFC kind of fight nights pitches like that. It's kind of the fair. Kind of blending like post-grunge or like Soil and Stained and some of those type folks pitches, some of those type fairs about it within like the aspect of getting like some typical kind of more Bodies, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, and Sinner from like the Sinner album from 2001 type fair within pitch. So it's a pretty thorough type combination and fusion as far as these fairs have. Excellent type pitch. Really, the malaise like this particular album covers excellent within the pitch. Of just displaying like the concept like a real grog type factor. Gives me like a real good swamp green type hero pitches like that as far as those ordeals album. Now, there were 4 singles on this project. The promotion of this album lasted pretty consistent while. One of these songs on this album did pretty damn well as a top 5 single on like the US main charts pitches like that. Particularly 37 Stitches was a big ordeal within those fairs kind of about it. That particular one has like more of the aspect of like familiar kind of post-grunge like the 2000s, just as like that was transitioning from folks like Nickelback and Three Doors Down pitches like that, more like the flares and getting towards like maybe definitely folks like Shine Down and the aspects. I feel like it's kind of a conduit type album with some of those type pitches as things started to graft away from like the early 2000s kind of new metal and alt metal and punk rock. Some of those type fairs getting towards more like the product of like the dredge aspect to some of these Muzak kind of sticky type songs and dredge as far as these aspects go. So it's excellent with the pitch as far as saying it, but it's just good type rock within that fusion scene with Drowning Pool and the new type sense was kind of up to within those pitches. So nails the appeal. But yeah, it is on here. There is some jump on here. They do step out pitches like that. It just has a little bit more familiar flavor like some Muzak type fair to kind of get towards some workshop type ones. It's kind of a productive type album. It has the pitch as far as saying just nails the aspect. It's a song dedicated to like the United States Army and the military pitches like that. Some of these type fairs within it. A little bit of productive, not just productive, but the actual aspect and not taking any bullshit fairs like that as far as getting along with the product, getting a number of tasks taken care of, and just being maybe possibly even awake within the hours before like 11 a.m. or noon or 10 a.m. or noon pitch like that. Some of those type fairs just really some day tackle and pitch like this. It has those particular fairs, maybe not every single song, but this has like, it's a pretty hard ass type album. It's just the pitch as far as saying, just the aspect. It doesn't have to be as full bound straight edge to the point where you're not having any smokage or beers in your system. So those type fairs, but it's just the pitch as far as saying just a productive, get the shit done in the morning hours if you need to, if necessary, pitch like that, 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, pitch like that, and then switching like the flare, like the night turn up as like the cage nights and traditional kind of Drowning Pool with like the Muzak kind of dredge of like new kind of shifts. It's kind of some new type stuff for Drowning Pool with an aspect. From what I remember, I don't think Sinner had these particular ones. That's a little bit more new metal flavor. There's not as much new metal in this particular album, and then the pitches on top of that, it's like the one, there was just a lot of cage and kind of wrestling style, not so much cheesiness, but just kind of campy and just kind of more like the band Saliva pitch like that. Very similar to Saliva, very similar to like Limp Bizkit. Some of those folks that just kind of had like that drama factor and just showing. That's kind of about within those appeals. I was desensitized within those aspects, but this particular one just has some of these just more dredge and makeshift, so it's good type fair. But looking after 4 singles, the promotion cycle lasted from 2007 to about the summer of 2009, pitches like that. Recommend all 13 songs of this album, so 10 out of 10. Yeah, so Soldiers is a hit song off here. Soldiers like a raging kind of morning and day start pep to kind of get within these products here. Just a hard ass breakfast. I'd say some of these type of aspects have a big enough type one, get like a good fill at McDonald's breakfast. Some of these type ones, IHOP fares like that. Denny's, some of these type places say within the tone, good, pancakes, hash browns, those type of aspects. Orange, hella orange juice, some of these type fares. Then Spearhead the mornings for those pitch that happen. Just no bullshit kind of day within those fares. So just kind of missed the pitch. Typical good station type tune for the military as far as what's supposed to happen just within the flavor of disc, really tough as nails pitches like that as far as getting towards the product, just like the out in the wind and pitches, some of those type fares, especially the fair about it is it's not that much of like a particular kind of like transit type fair as far as it feels like this is the sort of song that you'd listen to at 8 o'clock at night, but it feels more within the variety of something more 8 o'clock in the morning or earlier within some of those type fairs, considering the military kind of has those bound type aspects of tackling the day head on early, bright and early pitch like that. So it's just kind of ordeal. I mean, you could say that this song could be some night shift type fair, but I feel like the pitch being dedicated to like Soldiers pitch like that probably has just like the tackle just getting towards like the day fair just within the aspect of like the early shine and just the rise and shine as far as the pitch count, but it's within the fair just the aspect of just some good hustle mode grit as far as the pitch count. It's a good type pitch. Enemy is a nice one. Now, this is a good combo with Soldiers. Both these are like a pretty excellent 1-2 punch here to get within these products. This song is like a Grand Wild and Papa Roach kind of flavored day tackle to get within these aspects, just like Soldiers. It's like a makeshift type song, but peppy about it within these pairs. It's good to have like some Doritos nearby within some of these type pitches. It's kind of a committed type song though within these aspects. It's kind of fair. Not as full bound sure to say within the full bound type pitch, whether or not it had the flair of just like having like a ton of like consistent kind of drink use pitches like that, some of those type flares in your system, but definitely having some degree of like additional type product to keep things interesting, whether it would be a couple bags of Cooler and Doritos or just pitches like that, some sort of spicy snack to kind of get along with like the rest of the day fare within these pitches. But two good day tackle type songs within pitches, just like some morning brunch and kind of lunch rush type fare within the pitch, just getting through the product, just a hard ass type out. And these songs do not necessarily feel like straight edge type songs, but just to miss the pitch for folks that kind of have more tie to line kind of jostle to get like the discipline type fare kind of ironed out. It's just to get like the discipline type fare kind of within the usual type product of it. This is a good type pitch to have for some of those type aspects. So this kind of tone, good station set of songs, but just some hustle tear up real strong. But yeah, once again, good to have like some Doritos along for ride. Have like a box of beer waiting for you when you get home if able, pitch like that, some stuff products, but good type fare. Most popular song off this album is 37 Stitches. Now within the pitch, according to Spotify, there's a number of songs that do have more than 1 million plays on here. Like Enemy is the second most popular song, but 37 Stitches is far and away the anchor. This is a good type pitch, but this is one of those type ones that's just caught up in like the usual type dredge. There are a number of kind of crispy and more autumn bound type ones within the aspect, just like some songs very similar to Shine Down, very similar to Stained, similar to Nickelback, some of that folks. Three Doors Down within like the more dredge, kind of the wailing aspects. It is something to listen to past 3 o'clock p.m. when it's more kind of orangey pitches like that. But 37 Stitches, good post grunge and alt metal kind of day smear as far as these pitches can happen. Just a smoggy but station kind of malaise kind of get within these products. Just some Muzak push as far as these pitches can happen. So once again, this new angle for Drowning Pool as far as these pitches can happen. Considering it's been almost 10 years since I touched base with them, I don't remember as full, but I need to start listening to Desensitized a lot more. I do have like the 3 singles from Sinner on. I do have the 3 singles from Sinner on my particular MP3 player, but to get to more of those type pitches, I would say Sinner from 2001 is definitely a classic pitch like that. I'd say, even though I don't remember what I gave that score back in 2016, I'd still say some banging type appeals. But looking after within the extra type pitches about some of this type flair, being able to say, it didn't seem like Desensitized really had those flares, but I may not have had that many singles off of it either within those aspects, but just being able to say 37 Stitches, new angle, like I was saying, for particular Drowning Pool pitches like that, it's kind of a more grab and grip for like the tone of just like some music type or just getting stationed with like the traditional kind of day push of it within aspects like that. Pretty station within aspects of how those things. So yeah, that's 3 songs in a row that kind of have a more stationary type resolve just within the pitch. If you're expecting like a song, if you're like, damn, where's a song like Bodies, where's a song like Sinner, where's a song like Tearaway, some of these type pitches, where's a song like some of the ones off of Desensitized, like Whereas the songs like Step Up, some of these type pitches kind of format as far as him. It's good type fares, just traditional kind of music, commercial type fare pitches like that. Seamus, the fourth single, is another nice one within these pitches. This is the retread to like more familiar kind of drowning pool. It's like a good bull pit and familiar kind of bodies, let the bodies hit the floor style kind of drowning pool pitches like that. Just a lit kind of hollow Lane Staley type vibes about this song with like Cage Nights in mind. Some of those type pitches that is familiar type players within the aspect like the rowdy kind of rumble, ready to rumble type nights that drowning pools. The drowning pool is pretty well known for pitches like that. But yeah, particularly Ryan McCombs with this particular fare about it does harness Lane Staley in a number of times out this project, particularly some of these more post-grunge type ones with like the autumn kind of haze and fatigue about it as far as those pitches can happen. Just aspects when you think of songs like Rooster, Rain When I Die, some of those type ones with an aspect, other type ones from like Heaven Beside You, some of these type pitches with an aspect of some of those type ones where Lane Staley would kind of have like some really stretching type vocals, pitches like that as far as those ordeals kind of have them just almost in a haunting type sense. Now maybe it doesn't get to like, this is kind of an aghast type album in a more or less type sense, doesn't get as full bound aghast, it kind of feels more within the flavor, just like a little bit more straightforward within like the pitch of just, kind of music, but there is a little bit of like that kind of late August, September, and October type fare within the aspect of a little bit of scraggy, a little bit of the occasional scraggliness on here pitch like that. So good type ordeals, but yeah, good flair. So I look after it. So yeah, 13 songs in here. Recommend all 13 pitches like that. So 10 out of 10 albums. So particularly a real nice one on here would be Rebel Yell, the Billy Idol cover pitches like that. It's like a good paced and metally kind of 80s new wave kind of night streak to get within these products. Just some neon gliss to kind of have. Go Go Club kind of night pitches like that. Just some of those familiar type flavors ripped out of like 1984, 1986, some of those type flavors, but just in a more metal type aspect to the like mid late 2000s. Familiar kind of throwback excellent type pitches like a metal sheen. Good drop it type song for like Flames and Divas pitches like that as far as those pitches can happen. Good dance type right. Probably needed to be another song like this on here. It would have been interesting to see if Drowning Pool could have done a song like this without just covering Billy Idol as far as these pitches can happen. Because it's definitely kind of the pitch as far as saying this song stands out. Rebel Yell kind of stands out within the pitch of Billy Idol kind of having that particular kind of 80s aesthetic about it. So it would have been good type pitch of seeing if there could have been a song within Sunny Step Fridays kind of have that. But it's good fair as far as those pitches can happen. It's good to see that Drowning Pool can do cover songs pretty good pitches like that. Full Circle, the title track, is a nice one. It's like a grand bar hop and vanilla kind of dance venue bang to kind of get here pitches like that. Good song to pop that. Some of these type fairs, once again, some excellent type fairs kind of get the dance jobs going. Go-Go's in motion, some of these type pitches, just kind of some Sinner. It's like some good songs by Drowning Pool, like Sinner and Bodies type jump pitches like that. Just good song to get crunk to, some of these type fairs about it. Yeah, but this traditional type spice for Full Circle as far as these pitches can have. This probably could have been a pretty nice buzz single pitch like that, but this did have pretty full bound kind of promotion about it. So good pitches like that. Reborn is a quality one on here. This is one of those type ones that's like 37 stitches, a little bit more haunting though. Reborn's like a good autumn brush to get and smoke as far as these pitches can happen. Just an Alice in Chains kind of mixed with like Stained and folks like that. Since that folks with an aspect as far as these pitches can happen. Other folks like particular Puddle of Mud, Shine Down, some of these type pitches with the Puddle of Mud and Shine Down, some of those type folks within the aspect. It's like a dope kind of a gassed acoustic kind of trek as far as these first games. So just from the pitch as far as saying one of these type ones has a little bit more haunted, more past like August, September, so these type pitches kind of the fair. A relative type spike about this sound. Now within pitches, Drowning Pool can kind of get some of that type hauntiness. They're not quite as creepy as like Korn. In certain senses they can kind of get within that variety, but for the most part they're kind of more Fight Night and kind of like the factor of bands like Saliva and bands like particular bands like Limp Bizkit, just more within the fact that, I mean, they're not full, it's not to say they're cheesy within the aspect, but it's just kind of the pitch, it just kind of has like a relative, kind of within the neighboring community of being campy, but just kind of aspect of just more things like Fight Night and wrestling type fair pitches, some of those type fairs, just extreme sports and kind of contact sports pitches like that, football, hockey, wrestling, some of those type fairs pitches like that, just kind of more with that. Testosterone type fury pitches like that, some type fair. So it's good type pitch, but this is in a gas type one, just good acoustic type lick type one that has some Alice in Chains type vibes with like post grunge in there. Upside Down is a hit type one off this album. It's like an excellent Wood and Them Bones type style to kind of get within these aspects from Alice in Chains, good type fairs, but it's Drowning Pool, so it's good pitches about it. But this is like a rager kind of night to have, just good turn up to kind of get here, smoke a couple. I definitely say just some good jive about it. Another one within these appeals that's pretty similar to Upside Down would be Duet. This is like an excellent kind of cage night and UFC kind of fight night terror to get within these aspects here. Just basic kind of dance rumble. I'd say this is like Vintage Drowns as far as these pitches happen by Vintage Drowns, Vintage Drowning Pool. So pitch like some by Vintage Drowns, Vintage Drowning Pool. So some of those type pitches with an aspect as far as these pitches can happen. Good throwback kind of Drowning Pool pitches like that. This familiar type variety, some of those type aspects takes it back to desensitized type days. Probably more desensitized more so than Sinner from 2001, but it's just good type pitches, getting some of those type players, just harnessing both albums, not to leave either one of those two at the time kind of out within those pitches. So just with them varieties as far as getting towards some of those type ones. Good pitches like that. Love is a nice one within these aspects as well. It's like a raving kind of basic backyard and torch vest fun to kind of get within these products here. And by torch vest, I mean having a few smokish type fairs in your system or several good pitches like that. Get the hell zag swishes going. Back with some of these type pitches. It's like a hot throwback kind of center days pitch like that. Just feels like Dave Williams should be on some of these type of songs pitches like that. Some of those type fiery typeness. Gangs all here, folks like that. Homies nearby, just standard dap. Some of those type pitches with the aspect for these pitches can happen. Just kind of some hell to raise some of these type aspects when it comes to just that particular carnage and fury about it. Throwback to like the new metal type fair, some of these type aspects within the reality of just taking back to 2001 and 2003, some of those type aspects. So it's good type pitch. It's a familiar type aspect. Not a super ton of these backyard type ones on here is full bound, but it's just kind of within them. It's kind of within the aspect of like the variety as far as saying that you get like the Cage Night and Dance Venue type songs. So it's the same sort of pitch. Bodies is a song that can be played backyard type fair, but also within the pitch of like Dance Venue Rumbles pitch like this. So it's kind of variety, but this Love is one of these type ones that feels a little bit more residential and localized pitches like that, but excellent type where it deals good aspect to early days. Paralyzed is a hit type one off this album as well as like some evening dredge to get and glared kind of paranoia. I'd say pitches like that. Just a good burn a couple. I'd say within the aspects here. Just have like some greasy Lay's chips, some of these type aspects, and onion rings for like Dairy Queen or places like that. As far as these pitches kind of go, good aspects there. This is one that's just particularly like upside down. Paralyzed is the same sort of haunting typeness within the aspect of like acoustic type dredge, like Reborn in 37 Stitches, some of that fares, but 37 Stitches, a little bit more Muzak type bound pitch like that, but this one just has a more aspect of something, really the fatigue about it within the aspect of just kind of red eyes or just relative kind of dredge aspects and just kind of some red skies and just overall the glare type factor, a little bit more autumn bound, a little bit more scraggliness about it compared to fair, kind of has that Muzak type flip about it, but just more within the pitch like the harrow about it and just pitches like that, just kind of Tibble type haunts that feels more of like something that maybe more or less Marilyn Manson or the more glare type band like Mushroom Head or some of those type of books. And really Mushroom Head wouldn't even do a song like this. They're pretty carnivorous, so it's kind of the fair as far. I'm trying to think of like, I think Drowning Pool would be a pretty good fit for some of these more haunting kind of post-grunge type songs, but trying to think of like particular post-grunge that kind of in more late September, October kind of fit. It's not coming to me as full bound, but just pitched like that, some stuff fairs. I would say Marilyn Manson kind of does in certain type of senses, like with the Eat Me, Drink Me album from 2007, some stuff fairs, but not as full bound within these pitches, so it's kind of variety, good type kind of haunting aspect. But yeah, some definite kind of greasy and tasty kind of Lay's chips pitches like that, onion ring type fare, some of these type aspects throw in this porch type fare. I don't know if I talked about No More, but this is a hit type one. No More is like a good throwback to early 2000s kind of Disturbed and Godsmack kind of Hollywood dramatics kind of days pitches like that. Just a good song to blur around to some of these type fares about it. No More just really feels ripped out of 2001, 2002. It just feels like it should be on like a Scorpion King kind of trailer or something like that within those products. As far as those pitches kind of having just a high five to like Godsmack and Disturb, some of those type folks. David Drayman and Sully Ernest and those type folks in the aspects. As far as those tones kind of having just more within that factor, like that particular kind of stone cold type rock pitch, just like that. Some type of ordeals within the aspect behind it. Just good within that variety, but good pitch as far as those pitches going to happen. This nice Hollywood flavor about that one as far as this pitch can happen. Just good blur around to kind of get within the tones of just some serpents, just kind of more quick times and possibly tore up some, just in appreciating like the facet of like the good gliss factor of it being high pitches like that. As far as those ordeals can have some good aspects there. Reason I'm Alive has some appeal about it as well. Good pitches like that. It's like a nice vehicle marinate and porch afterthought to kind of get within these products here. Just some Lay's definitely have nearby some of these type aspects in the tone. Just kind of a dredgy time waste, I'd say, and just some grog to kind of have. So it's just the pitch. Some of these type fares about it. Reason I'm Alive is just a more traditional type variety to like one of the most popular songs off here. Reason I'm Alive is a good variety to one of the more traditional type popular type songs off this album. The most popular song on here, which is 37 Stitches as far as these fares albums. So excellent type pitch. Reason I'm Alive is a pretty similar type variety to the most popular song off this album, which is 37 Stitches, pitched like that. So it's another Muzak type flip, some of these type aspects from the tone, just like some time waste to kind of get within the ordeal, just like that kind of dredge type slag pitches like that, but good once again to have like this good party favors or pitches like that, some extra kind of treats to kind of have along for the ride as far as those pitch kind of just with the aspect of just taking some of the edge off some of those type fares, whether or not just having the Lay's chips nearby or just en route to pick up like a good box or two of course, some of these type pitches with the aspect, chirp some homies, some of these type pitches, figure out where some divas are kind of going with as far as this pitch kind of sex and type work. But it's kind of the grog factor just to frustrate and a mild kind of more just sedate type sense pitches like that. It's kind of some cooling type songs within those pitches, kind of with an aspect, just the vehicle marinade pitch like this. Appreciate the product of this, like sitting back and like just got done with things within those pitches. So I think that more or less takes care of the fair about the sound as far as these pitches can have within these aspects here. It's kind of fair about it. So 10 out of 10 album pitches like that. Social Score's going to go ahead and get a 10 out of 10 within these aspects as well. I feel like the variety behind it, it nails the appeal. Now, the only real thing about this band and things like that, or this particular album, the only real thing about this album as far as these pitches can happen is within the aspects, not as full bound that Drowning Pool's kind of seen as a one-hit wonder, but they're kind of within the relative almost variety of it. Because one of their most popular songs continues to be to this day is basically Bodies, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor as far as this pitch can happen, which even that being like their debut song from way back in 1999 or 2000, 2001, some of those that being their debut hit single from 2001, pitches like that, and that in combination with the fact that Dave Williams passed away before really being able to make any follow-up hits beyond like the couple of extra singles from Sinner as far as those pitches can happen, kind of labels this band kind of with the more or less type territory. I mean, there's always going to be folks that are going to kind of more or less complain about the facet that Dave Williams was a good aspect about what happened to that band, pitches like that, and just the questionnaire of never knowing what could have happened with him further. But it is kind of pitched that some of these other type ones like Ryan McCombs really did some good type appeal. It brought some new, this particular album brought some new type flares like some post-grunge and kind of Muzak type fare about this album as far as these pitch albums, some new taste, kind of having some haunted type aspects, throwing in like the malaise and the scraggle type aspects, like some tones of just like Muzak kind of sifting in vehicles, and just some lace chips going to have on the sides, some pitches, just some Arendine pitches like that, some good kind of hard ass type vibes, familiar to like the desensitized type days from 2004, so some leftover vibes from 2004 kind of going along with this, some Cage Night kind of campy type actus, relaxing type appeal, the traditional kind of fight night type songs and pitches like that. The Drowning Pool has always been known for, at least in the 2001 and 2004 days. So it's good type pitches, sounds type variety. So all these new tricks and treats, plus the additional type fare about this album, really makes it a pretty spicy type album. Only thing about it is the most popular song on here, and the 3/4 of the singles out this album are kind of more within the variety of just more straightforward, kind of hop to it, and more productive in like a more stone cold and sober type sense, but it's kind of pitched as far as saying there is some varieties on here that are just not in the single type format, so you're not going to get another song like Bodies or Sinner pitches like that, Sunset Fairs, or even Tear Away. It's just kind of pitch. It does have them on here, some of these type ones. I would say that Rebel Yell is a real nice one, like an 80s type glare. There's some ones like Love, there's some ones like Duet, there's some ones like Upside Down pitches like that, some of these type fairs, Shame pitches, some of these type fairs, at least one single, some of those type aspects within it, Full Circle. This kind of aspect as far as saying, so it nails the appeal of what to expect from this particular album, and the band as far as these pitches album has the hit appeal on here pretty large within these pitches, just kind of some new varieties, just try some new stuff and it works as far as this pitch album. It's just kind of the aspect, the new stuff in combination with the fact that they have a mild reputation for being a one-hit wonder within aspects that were out of their control. It's kind of pitches whether or not it would have like the hit appeal. Just question how it would do. But it's an excellent type album. It has some of these type products, good pitches like that. 4 large singles pitches like that. So all 4 of these charted in like the U.S. main charts. So it's good type pitch to get towards all this. It's a pretty large deal. Like I said, this promotion cycle lasted for 2 years. Pitches like that. So some pretty large type ordeals. Not a ton of albums kind of do that as full bound within the nowadays, or at least relative to like the past 20 years type pitch. So good aspects. In terms of the future, like Drowning Pool has at least been around since like 2022 or 2023, some pitches like that. I'm going to get to a series more of these, some of these type aspects. I want to say, originally I was going to review this album back in 2016 or 2017. I don't know what happened. I think like somehow like I got the wrong CD in the mail when I tried purchasing this album way back in 2016. I think that was kind of fair as to why I didn't do it back in those particular days. Just never got around to purchasing it again, but it's just his pitches as far as saying I'm going to get to some further type ones within these aspects of the 2010 album, some of these further type ones. But it's excellent type pitch to get this type variety, real capital type album that tries some new tricks and nails the appeal behind it.